a second Snow Scout hut. You can use it to your liking.
Every time I hear someone talk about Snow Scout, they always seem to bring up early PlayStation 4 walking sim classic Firewatch, which is a huge compliment to Snow Scout. Firewatch features a beautiful open world, told a great emotional story, and was universally praised by both gamers and critics alike. But now that I've played through all of Snow Scout, and really enjoyed my time with it, I think it's time for these comparisons to end. Let's get into the full review, and I'll tell you why. Listen, it's not like the comparisons are unwarranted. Both Firewatch and Snow Scout open up with some text in order to expedite your backstory. Both main characters needed to get away from their lives, which is why they ended up in the middle of nowhere. And both games feature a character who helps guide you, whom you only interact with via walkie-talkie. Now that's a lot of similarities, but that is where the comparisons end. In Snow Scout, you've taken a volunteer position at a pretty large ski resort, one where you can get away from the world for a whole week. Your character's taken a vow of silence, so while Rennie, your trainer and constant radio companion, talks endlessly about whatever crosses her mind, your only response will be clicking the radio once yes and twice for no. The conversations are wide-ranging and pretty inconsequential. Rennie's just trying to get a read on your personality. So while there are trophies for making her like you more, it doesn't really seem to affect what happens in-game.
And? What do you say? Was it tasty? Great!
So besides talking to Rennie, you'll be doing a lot of skiing. In fact, that's kind of what Snow Scout is, a glorified downhill and cross-country skiing simulator. And since your normal default walk is so slow and there's no run button when you're off skis, it'll be your primary means of transportation and the only way to get from one place to another quickly. By pushing L3 and R3 together, skis and poles will magically appear on your body. After a little bit of practice, gaining momentum, turning, and stopping all becomes second nature. I even got into the habit of crouching in real life to fully immerse myself in the experience. It's nice to glide around this place, relaxing even, hearing the snow crunch beneath your skis and learning to control your turns with delicate sense controller movements, all of which is in stark contrast to the downhill trials. Every slope has a few runs with online leaderboards, and these are really fun and get longer and more intense as the game progresses. Now, if you don't feel like being active, Snow Scout gives you the option to just push the analog sticks forward occasionally rather than having to swing your arms. But this won't be nearly as fun, and I didn't even bother using this option until the final hour of the game when my arms were getting tired. The ski resort here is divided up into smaller areas connected by quick, practically instant load screens. It's a minor thing to note, but these moments where the game fades to black keep Snow Scout from feeling like a true open world. That said, some of these areas are massive, with draw distances that stretch out all the way into the distance. And everything looks pretty nice too, running at 90 frames native in high res. I mean, considering what you're seeing is just mountains of snow. And when you're flying at top speeds down a ski run, the headset haptics kick in and work in tandem with the sound effects of the wind, which works surprisingly well. Shockingly, much better than it did in Windlands 2. Snow Scout gives you a Saints and Sinners style backpack to store your stuff in, a few inventory slots, and a few tools eventually too. And I guess because of all this, I assumed that the game and gameplay mechanics would be a little deeper. Yeah, more like Firewatch than they ended up being. You have to chop firewood each night before bed, shovel snow occasionally, and if you're going for brownie points, you can collect trash and take photos of birds too. But despite verbal warnings about how easy it is to die up here and the omnipresent temperature gauge on screen, there's no survival mechanics. There's no crafting, no wildlife to fend off, and no NPCs other than your constant radio companion. And I guess minor spoilers, the thing that surprised me the most is that not a lot happens. This is why the Firewatch comparisons need to stop. In the first hour of Firewatch, you find a couple of girls who are partying in the woods, your watchtower gets broken into, you find a backpack that belongs to the kid of a former employee of the park. There's so much happening in the world, whereas in Snow Scout, well, nothing unexpected ever happens. You're given these sort of simple, repetitive tasks to complete, and no surprises ever present themselves. Again, this isn't a bad thing. It just makes Snow Scout its own game. And that game is a chill, stress-free vacation getaway, where the point of the game is just skiing. But I also think it's important to know all of this going in, or you could end up slightly disappointed like I was, that the story never really went anywhere. In the end, I think Snow Scout accomplished exactly what it set out to do. It felt like a relaxing getaway unlike any other VR game I've ever played. Learning to ski, completing menial tasks, and getting to know Rennie over the course of this 5-hour adventure was so enjoyable that I'm tempted to do it all over again in order to get the platinum. Snow Scout's not going to win any awards for its story, but who knows? Maybe the studio can take what they learned here and make something with an even better story and deeper mechanics somewhere down the line.
Nice! Another skiing route successfully tested.